How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing? Oh, what the? Why does it look like that? Hold up, give me a second. Let me fix that. That should default and default. There we go. A little bit of darkness. That was literally really dark over there for some reason. The camera. Is my mic working? Okay, the mic is working. The webcam is back up and running. Before a second we had a hiccup over there. But yes, let's talk about the market. Tuesday, second day of March, and boy oh boy was the market frothy. Volatility all over the place, just opportunities everywhere, trades here, trades there. You want it, you have a trade everywhere. So it was just a monster day today, and you know, if you kind of just focused in on one or two names and just stayed on those names and really slammed them, there were opportunities that gave you for the short side off the open. It gave you opportunities for the flip back up north. They were setups that were you know, beautiful and picture perfect for both sides. So it was just one of those days on the market, especially with the volatility up in the market. I mean, monstrous. And with the sell-off that we had going into the close, volatility still going all over the place. And on top of that, with the tariff man, aka Donald Trump himself, Donald Trump, now we got a news at the end of the day coming out that there's potentially tariffs re-rolling or going backpedaling on the tariff conversation. So that's potentially going to take the market back up again. So lots of back and forth in the market, and on top of that, with the backpedaling of the tariff conversations, potential backpedaling of the tariff conversations. You know, market moving all over the place. So there's just so many trades today. I had a pretty decent day to start off with, but one of the setups that you know, honestly, the setup that is keeping me alive as a trader at the moment it kind of came into play today. Put some risk on that and ended up losing on that trade and giving back all my profits and ending red on the day. So not too upset with how that works out, because not sometimes, most of the time that setup works and I make a ton of money. Sometimes you lose and I lose a little bit, right? You just take it on the chin and move on from it. But keeping in mind for how I traded specifically for other trades, my intraday setups and so on, those ones I feel like I did a pretty decent job today. There was multiple roller coaster rides for me back and forth, which we'll talk about in a second, where I talk deeper about my trades on the day. Go a little bit back and forth. I make one risk unit right off the open by like 9:55, 10 o'clock, but then I give it all back by 11 o'clock, and then I make it all back by 12 o'clock, and then I give it all back by 2 o'clock, and then I make it all back by 3 o'clock. So it was just kind of back and forth on that side. But throughout the whole time, I was really calm, composed. I wasn't stressed about it, because I knew the type of day we had ahead of us. It was just the type of market, the type of situation. It's not the environment where you let a couple things tilt you and you completely blow away a whole perfect good opportunity, and the market gave you said opportunity today. So let's talk about a little bit about my trades today by going to the full screen here. Talk about the winners or the losers. We'll just go through the list over here. Coinbase, obviously with cryptocurrency going back and forth, Coinbase having a really good level around 200, 201 area. We planned for this last night on stream. Stock goes back and forth later on in the day, pops back into the 200 zone, and you can see how it's below VWAP. Short stocks below VWAP, long stocks above VWAP. So had you done either of that today, you would have potentially made some money, depending on when you did it, however. So if you did it around the time I did, catching the quick little short, catching the lower day breakout, scalping some profits on the move down over there, and then getting stopped out on the lower day, kind of failed lower day breakdown over here as the stock bottoms out, Bitcoin bottoms out, and they both start moving back up to the north side. I give back a little bit of money on this trade over here. That one's a flat exit. I give back a little bit over here. But the bigger regret is not managing to flip long, because this was kind of the main trade, not only on Coinbase, but the overall theme on the day today. So Coinbase, Nvidia, Tesla, you name it, they all kind of, the market, all of them basically did the same thing, where just an insane rally reversal as the market, QQQ for specifically, hits the 200-day moving average or goes a little bit below it and then gets bought right back up. So good dip buy opportunity for investors. Talked about this a little bit with you guys yesterday, explained it to my father, but my father apparently did not care enough to buy any positions today, so sadly might have missed out on a good run up over there. But hey, market right back down today, so if you're interested in the dip, you can always get that. But I think with the tariff news, we're gonna gap up tomorrow and gap up hard. I wouldn't be surprised if QQQ is back above 500 for us to trade with tomorrow intraday. Coinbase, so pretty regretting of not being able to flip long. At this moment, I had already bunch of other stocks, similar setup, enough exposure on hand. So maybe that could be used as a little bit of an excuse, but honestly, you had a couple great spots to look long. Right around the 201 area over here as the stock breaks back through high day, or even this 203. You can see how it has a flat top, bouncy ball on the 1 minute, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, but at the same time it has a nice flat top. Breaks out the even dollar area, pulls back, and then gives you a second chance scalp also. So you have a long here, which is a fashionably late scalp long. Then you have the bouncy ball breakout over here. You can even call it the hitchhiker scalp breakout over here for us to join the trend. And on top of that, you have the second chance scalp coming in where the stock is just giving you a big move. Later on in the day, there's another second chance scalp giving into 208, giving you a big move to the north side. So I mean, there were some really good opportunities today on the market. You just had to you had to be active. You just had to be active today, and I think that's going to be a little bit of the case for tomorrow too. So maybe bring your sizing down, but you might have to be active. Make sure you're getting out on pops, getting back in on dips, because the market is just volatile. It's just going all over the place. If you don't want to do that, then make sure that you are sizing enough, being appropriate enough to the point where if the stops do trigger, you don't get beat up on that position at that point. So that's how I position myself. When the stops do trigger, I don't lose too much on that trade, and when it does pay out, I end up making 2 times, 3 times my risk. So here's a Tesla long, but this is on TSLL. Tesla long, taking the fashionably late scalp long, getting above VWAP, adding on the breakout of this area, holding it against me. Should have really added on this dip over here, but didn't really add at all. Deleveraging some just in case Tesla wants to die off, but thankfully it didn't, and it started going higher at that point, taking some profits on Tesla long. Same idea with TQQ, same idea with Nvidia. It's rinse and repeating these setups. So when I said that I had enough exposure already, this is what I meant. I had Tesla, QQQ, and Nvidia long at that moment. I was just gonna manage those 3, but Coinbase was a one that I really missed I screwed that up, let's say that. SMCI, while the whole market was fairly weak and SMCI was going back and forth quite a bit, SMCI was actually positive. It was bouncing off of VWAP. It was one of the most strong stocks on the day, while the rest of the market's weak. Nvidia is below 113, which is a big daily level. Tesla is bearish. Every single stock out there is getting beat up across the board, but this one is actually green on the day. Okay, also has a very similar bouncy ball pattern into that 38 area. Nice little flat top. Not really 100% flat, because like these lows these highs are a little bit lower than 38, but it has the same bouncy ball type of feel. Has a similar pattern of Nvidia from yesterday or from earnings, but reverse that, where Nvidia was into low a day, SMCI is into high a day. So it has a very similar Nvidia type pattern from the other day that I actually took the short from and made couple good dollars per share on. So I figured this was a good trade to be involved in. The stop is not that far out too, so got involved in it. Got a quick little scalp, tried to take the break out of that area, didn't have any follow through, so I got stopped out. But that dip buy, that dip buy was a miss over there. Later on, I tried to take the 40 breakout. It was too extended, didn't really like the 40 breakout, so I traded this way too scared. At the end of the day, I got out for flat on this trade. I said no thank you, but I did miss out on a good move, 50-cent move to the upside. But honestly, I was risking 50 cents and I got 50 cents, so is it really that good of a trade? Probably not. So this was the entry that I really should be regretting to not capture, because it was not that far away from me getting stopped out. So I just kind of get turned off after me getting stopped out and ignore a beautiful trade opportunity. Not too much risk over there. Maybe you're risking 20 cents and you end up getting a good move all the way up to $1 per share. If you're actually holding it properly, maybe you get a move all the way up to $40.50 where the stock manages to pop into. So SMCI, Tesla, you saw me play this on TSLL, but I also put some exposure over here, but I'm just kind of scalping for $1 per share, because I get jumpy when Tesla moves around, and I'm not really able to manage my trade as easily as I am on TSLL, and that's why you see on TSLL, as it goes against me, I'm like, I don't give a shit if it goes against me, because I got the bigger picture and I'm sized enough to actually play out for the bigger picture. But Tesla, No matter how much I'm sized, I always get a little jumpy. So just to have some skin in the game, I'm in the trade, but then I'm also scalping the trade very quickly as it's kind of scaring me away from it. But thankfully I was able to capture it on the leverage ETF on that bad boy. SMST, this was a quick little short scalp on MicroStrategy. I know it looks like it's a long, that's because it is, but this is a SMST. I'm trading it on SMST. Basically it's short MicroStrategy. Later on you can see how going long MicroStrategy from VWAP would have given you some intense gains over there. Monster long. Coinbase, same idea. Last but not least, Tesla short right off the open. So taking the Tesla low a day break, kind of the opening range break of Tesla, adding to that breakout again, and then quickly scalping for some profits, taking some quick money off the market. There's a setup there for me to capitalize on. Let me just take some quick money off the market, put it in my pocket, and enjoy that ride. OKTA earnings name. I think if the market hadn't been so slow to reverse today, this would have been a really good long. But because the market was so slow to reverse today, this one didn't really work out for me the way I wanted it to. I also kind of took the breakout. It's not really a breakout, but I kind of had like a little trend line on the 1 minute drawn over here, which is honestly bullshit if you ask me. But I took very little size. I put C-level risk over here and I lost C-level risk amount, so I'm not really upset for taking that trade. Had it really started to work for me and take out the day's high and the markets reversing too, I would have really added on this trade and you know, sized up on it because of what I planned about this trade yesterday. We talked about this trade yesterday on stream about that 104 area. Exactly what I wanted to see at 104 is what the stock was showing it to me. Also, another thing the stock was showing to me is the support at 101, 102, which I could have gone long off of. I didn't, but I tried to take the breakout, take a quick little stop out. Much later, I actually tried to take a long over here, but I kept pulling my order every time it would kind of get closer to my order, and then I would stop taking a look at the position. I don't know why. So I would throw the order, and as soon as it's kind of going to my order, I'd pull the order and I'll stop looking at the position because I didn't want to make any rash decisions. So I kind of made some stupid calls over there. Later on, you know, the idea 102 against 101 or 102 against 100 still would have given you a good risk to reward trade. You got multiple dollars per share for risking $2. I think you did end up getting about $4 per share, so $2. Even if you didn't want to risk $2, even if you risk 101, you would have actually based on your timed entry, I think if you entered right here, that would have been very good risk to reward right there overall. And that's SMR. Ooh, we talked about this one yesterday on stream. I talked about how the $15 to $16 area is important to me. Basically $15.50. The stock pops into $15.50 and gets rejected. So now I'm thinking, okay, there's a seller here in this area. Give me another reason to look short. Then I'll join the short side. So stock pops again to the high a day, fails to take out the high a day, and then pops right back down. So I'm thinking, okay, I can kind of use this as a reason to get short, risk the high a day over there, and if we take out this range low, I'll kind of add to my trade. I added and a little bit of back and forth. That whole time I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna break this range low, which was around 15.10. Fashionably late scalp on the 1 minute is going to set up, and the stock is going to be a banger short. The market's already red on the day. SMR has a decent level on the daily chart coming from previous all-time highs before the whole breakout, before the whole nuclear energy sector craziness and so on. So you know, has a previous level over here. So if I get to capitalize on it, this is going to be a monster trade for me. And I was sizing pretty decently for this too, and I was going to really size if we broke below that over there. Pyramid to my trade. but sadly didn't work out that way, and sticking to the pyramiding rules, taking the loss as it pulls back and takes out a little bit of a resistance area the stock has created, and taking the loss. I think I took a little bit of a loss for the amount of size I had. The loss doesn't matter, but later on in the day there was a good long flip. If you were looking for it, I wasn't, so I stayed away from it. I wasn't looking for the long flip at all. Meta. Ugh. This one's so rattling. So I took a long, and then I cut my size by half, and I threw my stop at 630. And then as the stock is going to 630, I said, you know what? I'll move my stop to 629 and I'll forget it. Whatever happens, happens. Because the market's going higher. At this point, Meta is just stop hunting people. And you know, it's got to join the party too. Most likely it goes to 629.50 and it goes to 630, and then it starts its rally. So I just put my stop and I stopped looking at Meta so I don't make any irrational decisions on it. Guess what? It triggers my damn stop and it starts ripping to the high side right after that. So an absolute annoying trade. Lost a little bit, but thankfully I cut my size over here, so I didn't really lose anything on this name, so I'm not too upset. What I am upset about is missing out on the long that I wanted. It's just the spread is like $1, $2, not $2, but the spread sucks. So they'll just hunt you based on the liquidity. A couple stocks over here that weren't even part of my game plan, but you know, they were called out on the floor, so I kind of took some shots. That being said, no one forces me to trade anything, right? So I kind of liked the trade, so I kind of joined the trade. I also thought this was a second chance scalp, so I added to it. I got stopped out, then I tried to take the breakout over here, then I got stopped out, and I said, fuck this, what am I doing? I'm just giving back money for no reason that I already made on the day, on something that's not even, you know, part of my plan, on something that's not a real setup. Maybe if it's not a part of my plan, but at least if it's part of the setup that I you know, a part of my playbook, then go for it. But it wasn't really on this shot over here. On this shot, yeah, it was, and on this shot, yeah, it was. So I'm okay with these ones. But what am I doing here? Just giving back money for no reason. So that was really triggering. Thankfully, I stopped doing that later on in the day. Same thing over here too. You can see how very similar executions were kind of made on SQQ also, right? So very similar idea. Going short, trying to go long again, so trying to get lucky and capture the reversal a little too early, trying to get lucky and capture a big short a little too early. So missing out on both sides on the market today. But my intraday trades like Coinbase, I traded Coinbase absolutely clean off the open, like 955. I was already you know, my daily goal, so that was awesome off of Coinbase. But you know, obviously gave some money back on other positions. Couple other trades, Tesla long, Nvidia long. I did a pretty decent job on that. Could have done a way better job based on how I added to the trade and how much size I had. This one could have been a really big winner, because this one went all the way back to 120. So this one could have been a really big winner. So time for me to do some homework today. But as I said, there's a setup that I can't really talk about with you guys, and that setup is one of my most profitable setups, the most highest win rate, and the most profitable setups, which I can't talk to you guys about, sadly. Not sadly, you know, just you gotta hide the edge sometimes, right? Can't leak the edge on every single way. I'm already leaking a ton of edge over here, but not edge that is already leaked on the internet that you can't find on your own. But the other edge I can't leak, sadly. That high win rating setup is a setup that's going to turn me red today. It's a setup that's going to turn me red today. All right. Time to talk about the stocks that moved on the day. So for that, we're gonna obviously go check out our awesome friends at Centerpoint. If you are interested in a brokerage, I'm not affiliated with them at all, so I can't get you discount at all. But if you're interested in Centerpoint, go check them out. They're a pretty good pretty good brokerage is what I hear from everyone, and this might be my way of asking for them to hook me up with some sort of a sponsor code. All right, CrowdStrike down in the after hours following the release of its quarterly financial results. So CrowdStrike down, BAC down, ENPH up, AT&T up, Intel down, TEM on TSM announced the 10 billion infrastructure investment, but didn't mention collaboration with Intel as previously speculated. So that potentially took Intel big to the downside off that ooh, that was an easy short right there, right? Taking a good opening range breakout off of the news catalyst. I think I gotta put this gotta put this in my Discord notes for stocks to write up on. I'm not mentioning, and I'll copy, or I'll just copy this link and I'll have that saved. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about some of these stocks over here, and some of the stocks that reported earnings today after hours. Obviously, CrowdStrike, JWN, Nordstrom. Anything else that we really care about on this board? ChargePoint, not really sure we care about that one. Orthopediatrics Kids, okay, pretty sure never traded this name before. Box ORN, never traded that one before either. STEM Energy Super Intelligence, oh what, Abercrombie and Fitch ANF, that's going to be an interesting name. Foot Locker, FL, Fruity Loops as I call it. I don't see any other name that's important for tomorrow pre-market, and then a bunch of names tomorrow after hours. So already have my watch list ready for you guys, and we're gonna start off with the names that reported earnings. Real quick though, let me go say hello to some of the people in the chat. We got TH, we got John Vaughn saying he already hit the like. Thank you, John, you're the best. I appreciate the love, I appreciate the support. Let's see. Mexico, El Presidente announced tariffs after trading hours, but people are saying that Trump is actually going to pull back on his tariffs. We'll see. If he does pull back on his tariffs, maybe we'll see other countries also pulling back on their tariffs, and then the tariff war basically ends. You know, this could just be classic Trump manipulating the market so it goes down first so all of his friends can buy it, and then he pumps it back up by canceling tariffs and pushing the market right back up, so the rich get richer and the poor just get scared and trapped and sell all of their positions, as they've been doing recently, right? They've been doing recently. So taking the market back to the 200-day moving average, and you know, just telling all of his friends, aka Nancy Pelosi, there's actually a big whale trading big market news events like the crypto reserve event with 50 times leverage and making $6 million on Bitcoin, and then also shorting Bitcoin at the same time on the tariffs news, and then potentially also going long Bitcoin on the tariff cancellation news when that happens. So someone's you know, potentially using Bitcoin now to not get caught. Oh, my webcam's not on over here. Someone's potentially doing that to not get caught on the stock market, because insider trading on the crypto market is 100% legal. And now that these people or this person is no longer in the White House, because they used to be a Democrat and they used to be you know, in the White House, it wasn't illegal then, right? But now it could be illegal because they might be trading on hidden information that they're not even supposed to know. I don't know. I'm just coming up with theories. Nancy Pelosi is who I'm talking about. Nancy Pelosi. That's what his name is. MicroStrategy. Yes, but only if Zelensky approved the mineral mine right deal. I mean, I don't know anything about that, but all I know is he got absolutely schooled And yeah, I guess Trump is gonna let Russia handle with Ukraine. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out. It's gonna be insane if we have to go to World War III. Whew. All right, let's talk about what we have on store over here. Reported financial results with fourth quarter Tuesday after the bell. 1.058 versus 1.032. Reported 1.03 per share versus 85 cents per share. So looking like they beat on estimates on revenue and EPS. CrowdStrike has beaten for every quarter since going public in 2019. That is an insane statistic. That is an insane statistic, if you ask me. Total revenue up 25% year over year. That's pretty good. Annual recurring revenue increased by 23% year over year. Was CrowdStrike the company that recently had the whole world go dark, like zero dark, like completely with the outage? Overall, they're still growing, so that's pretty good for them if they were the company that was responsible recently. Annual recurring revenue 23% year over year increase after the company added. Okay, next, everything looking good as the business of all sizes rapidly adopt AI, blah 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 blah, with 97% gross retention. And okay, that's freaking ooh, so that's where the damage comes from. So the EPS has been guiding a lot lower than the estimate. So they guided 64 to 66 cents compared to 95 cents estimate. And the revenue is kind of in line. 1.106 is the estimates, and the high end is 1.106, and the low end is 1.1. So it's kind of in line. Let's continue taking a look at the outlook over here. 2026 guidance. Company expects full year revenue 4.74 to 4.81 billion. Compared to 4.77, so kind of in line at the same time. Anticipates full year adjusted earnings 3.3 to 3.45 versus 4.42, so the EPS misses are coming in. Soft earnings guidance appears to be waiting on the shares, and the stock is down 5.9% off the earnings report. Let's quickly also go take a look at what CrowdStrike's PE is. Trump speaking in USA TV soon, really. What channel?
Whole house.
Okay. Where were we? So 770 PE is absolutely insane, brother. Absolutely nuts. So CrowdStrike potentially setting up for, I mean, they're growing, right? They're still growing, but very expensive PE overall on this position. We'll be watching very keenly, obviously. CrowdStrike is a, ooh, my niece is home. CrowdStrike, very important name for a day trade, especially off of earnings reports. Yeah, CrowdStrike was a name where it kind of freaking crashed. They already back to all-time highs. That was an insane dip buy. Looking like they dropped right into the 200-day moving average. What does that drop into? 350. And if you go back into the daily chart, 200-day moving average is 330. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a move into the 200-day moving average overnight, going into tomorrow, and then a bounce. So keep an eye out for some more down move and then potentially some dip buy opportunities. But for now, you know, I don't see anything in the report that screams very bearish, other than the fact that you know, they are guiding EPS very, very lower. Their EPS for a full year and for the quarter, for the next quarter, is much softer than estimates. So that could be you know, good enough of a reason for the market makers and investors to kind of move the stock the way they did. And obviously PE is absolutely bonkers. 770 PE for a stock that's only going to be you know, reporting 65 cents in the next quarter. Potentially not enough, and obviously not enough, right? Obviously not enough. So a little bit of a move we'll be watching for. Pops to short into Currently 370 I think is the last month's low. Let's zoom out real quick and take a look at where 370 is. That's kind of where I just threw a line down already. So 369, 370, looking to see if that will act as a resistance on the pops on this name. So 370 through 369. Where's the earnings anchored VWAP? Earnings anchored VWAP coming in around 364, 365. So that will be a good inflection level right there. Nice and even dollar, 365. If the stock is above it, then you got another quick $5 area above it to see if we can get some sort of a trade. And if Trump actually starts to show up, I'll pull the screen down. But that screen over there is really distracting for me. My ADD is just absolutely getting eaten up by that little screen down there. Not that it's helping now that it's in a bigger screen up here. More distraction. Shark Tank. What? CNBC is showing Shark Tank right now? Okay, clearly we're not going to be watching whatever Trump's talking about. So moving on. CrowdStrike. So watching how CrowdStrike will set up for us tomorrow. For now, as the stock is trading mainly biased to the short side, so watching how pops react. But if the stock is holding above 370, there's just no more shorts after that point. And if the stock isn't already down to 330, I'm gonna actually put down that area 334/335 on my watch list as 200-day moving average, already on my watch list just to be safe in case the stock market, or in case the CrowdStrike does open down in those areas. So I have so far a nice little support, resistance, and inflection level mapped out on my charts or on my watch list. JWN, what? Is Nordstrom getting bought out? Guys, is Nordstrom getting bought out? It is. JWN is getting, well, where is it getting bought out for? For $24.25. When does the deal close? 15th of May. How much volume does the stock make right now? They're getting bought out by themselves? Ah, gotcha. How much volume is JWN doing currently? Not bad volume. 4 mil. $4 mil's not bad. I wonder how thick the book is. And what was the price again? $24.25, and it's basically trading above it. I'm gonna have to trade the stock tomorrow. Ideally, the stock should not be above $24.25. It's a cash consideration stock. It's a spin-off. Implied consideration value $24.69. I'll need to ask my friends a little bit about this trade actually. A little bit confused as to what exactly is going on in this stock. Yes, they reported earnings today, but this is not really a normal earnings name, so you're not gonna have to worry about this name tomorrow. Let's just kind of move away from that one and go to a little bit more important names for us tomorrow. Ooh, Anchor VWAP pinch setup. You guys remember this setup? What a beautiful breakdown from that Anchor VWAP pinch. Sadly though, we'll be removing that Anchor VWAP at the moment. We'll be deleting this one also, and maybe delete this line. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need that. We don't need this. We'll leave that one actually. All right. So well below its 200-day moving average, reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market, and if you actually go take a look at ANF's PE, it's very cheap. very cheap, and the stock has actually been a revolutionary company from what they were in 2023. They kind of turned the books. They hired a new CEO, completely changed the company from the ground up, and you know, turned it into a big investment company. And even then, their PE was still very cheap when they're in the $140 area, at the point where I was thinking, you know, this is a big short. Like, what the heck is this company? Who the hell is actually wearing A&F? I don't see any A&F clothing these days, but they were actually selling through like other chains that they own and so on. So they were doing a great job, and I think they still will be. I don't see any reason why the stock is plummeting at the moment. There hasn't been any news other than the fact that maybe short sellers are piling in. The market's been a little bit weak. Tariffs, China, maybe, you know, some of the stuff, their clothes come from China, so that's possibly some of the reason why A&F has been taking a little bit of a hit. I'm just speculating here. I have no clue really, but the fact that they're well below their 200-day moving average while being a very low PE makes them a very attractive name to go long. So with the tariffs talks kind of dying down, maybe dying down, if they do die down tomorrow or in the near future, A&F with their report tomorrow pre-market will be a very interesting stock to keep an eye on. I don't see why it doesn't jump back into the $100 area on a positive report, but vice versa, on a negative report, it'll be even more interesting to see you know, how low can we go, because this stock is now going to be figuring out some levels after a really long time. I'll be back. Alright, my niece is home, so I just had to go say hello to her. You guys see the garbage in the back over there? I guess you don't even notice it. If you do, that's hilarious. There's a garbage can in the back, because my sister-in-law uses my room when I'm at work in the office. So she uses my kind of studio, my office, my gaming room, whatever you want to call it, my man cave. And she puts the garbage over there so my dog doesn't put his head in the garbage, because kind of hilarious. I forgot to take it down, but we're gonna leave it, keep it fresh as the environment is. All right, A&F. So earnings report tomorrow pre-market, obviously on the watch list. Foot Locker, FL. I actually remember to call it Foot Locker. Wow, what's wrong with me? Okay, Foot Locker. We're obviously keeping this one on the watch list. It hasn't been here in a long time. I haven't traded Foot Locker in a while. Foot Locker should have a low PE also. Non-existent PE now, but forward PE of 10. I guess they've been taking a little bit of a losses. Also, you know, a lot of these retailers, or not retailers, second sellers, I guess I say, as I've been saying, they need to lose money and go bankrupt. Not that they need to, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Ever since the online world, people just start buying online. Who goes to a store to buy things anymore? Like I personally don't. I just buy it directly online. I know exactly what my shoe size is. I look at the shoe online. I get to see different views of it. I get to read reviews of it, and I just buy the shoe online. So I just don't understand who goes into a Foot Locker store anymore. I remember the nostalgic memories of back in the day, going in with your family, sitting down in the mall, and so on. But it's just like, no, I'm kind of over it, and looks like the market is now realizing that too. So a little bit to the downside on Foot Locker, keeping this one on the watch list, but probably not as high priority tomorrow for me compared to like ANF or something. Next up on the watch list is Target. I have an alert already into that 118, 119 area, for which I'm going to be very patient in case the stock pushes up there. I'll try the short into the reject of the 120, 119, but if that area doesn't reject, then this is basically a failed breakdown and the stock reverses back up tomorrow. So watching how the earnings report reacts, for now you can say this was a nice little pop back up with the rest of the market. But if it doesn't get back above 120, then there is that pop does not matter. Anyone who bought today, they're gonna have to answer a question: where is your stop? As the stock starts to plummet back to the downside and gravity starts to weigh some effect on this name. So obviously keeping this one on the watch list. Today's VWAP potentially a good level to keep an eye on. If you do get a pop into 120, shorting around 120 and expecting a move into 114, 115, not a bad idea if you ask me. Right, get a nice little $5 move to the downside on a day 2 short on a reject from that 120 area. So 115 inflection area, which is basically the earnings of VWAP. Let me quickly just zoom out. 116 it says is the earning VWAP, so I'll just put that 115.50 as my inflection, and then EAVWAP. Okay, BBY. Care? Yes, I do. Is there going to be a day 2? There's going to be like much better names to trade tomorrow, though. Like, there's just simply way better names to trade tomorrow. But if there's a lack of names for some reason, then I'll pull up Best Buy and look to see if Best Buy is below that $80 area. Last month low is basically 81, so 80 to 81 area I'll be watching. If it rejects over there, I'll look for a short, but besides that, I'm just not interested. Look for a trade on that name at all. SE, nice pop after initial dip on the earnings move, but still a little bit away from the all-time high. And if the all-time high, from the 52-week high, and if the stock actually starts to have some rally back into the 52-week high, I'll be interested to see if there's some trade over here. Maybe I'll set an alert for now, but this is not that interesting. Momo's in the house, so she wants us to take a look at MRNA. Potential short over there on MRNA, but nah, I just don't care for it. I really don't care for that one, I'll be honest. There's just way better trades tomorrow. Same thing as Best Buy. Like, only way I'll care for Best Buy if it is at 80, not 1. If it's at 80, that's the only way I'll take a look at that one. OKTA, watching to see if my trade idea that I initially wanted. You can see how my levels from last night, we planned out these levels. We threw the levels actually live on stream in front of you, and the stock kind of played around those levels until it broke out, and it actually ended up going into 110. So beautiful move on OKTA. Question is, can we get a dip back into these zones? Today's VWAP actually ended up being 105, which is the high end of these two lines. So if the if the stock can actually dip into this zone, show me some buying in these areas, I'll be interested to look for a long for sure tomorrow. Sadly, I don't think that'll be in the plausible trade permutations, but if it is, I am interested. So 103 to 104 is on the watch for a dip buy long on OKTA. GTLB, not sure. Oh wow, what a candle on GitLab. Oh my god, 200-day moving average just got bought absolutely back up. So if that's the case, I mean, if GitLab gets back above that day's high right there, what, $63, it's a no-brainer long at that point. So that's your inflection level. You're watching GitLab to see how it trades around 63. If it gets above 63, it's a no-brainer long. But if it goes back into today's candle, I'm not really interested. You could find some positions like a dip into today's VWAP for a move back into today's high, or a short below today's VWAP for a move back into today's low, or something like that. But I'm just not that interested to look for a trade if it's not above 63. That's the only play I want to watch out for. If stock above 63, I love long. So that's all I'm going to put in my notes. Besides that, I don't want to put anything in there because I'll get distracted on that trade idea at that point. Nvidia, decent bounce back into 120, but then with the market pull back late in the day, closing around 115, well under its 200-day moving average. So Nvidia obviously struggling a little bit. I'd say honestly just play it by zone to zone, right? Just play it zone to zone. There's a lot of volatility at the moment, and you know, this is Nvidia trading 300 million shares, so the liquidity is not a complaint. There'll be tons of opportunities throughout the day. You can get it off the VWAP, you can get it off of opening range breakdown, you can use SMB setups to kind of trade in and out throughout the day, the SMB setups on Nvidia directly. So if you don't get too distracted and just focus on Nvidia or just focus on Tesla tomorrow, you'll find trades. You'll find trades and you'll find good setups where there are cheap spots to get in, and you'll get a good risk to reward trade out of it. But obviously, you know, you have to put in the work to actually find them. I can't tell you where those spots will be, how they're gonna be, because these stocks are kind of all over the place right now. But those will be the stocks that you just have to watch all day. Potentially go watch SMB Capital cheat sheet on their website. It will exactly outline the kind of setups that I'm talking about to you guys. Exactly the setups I'm talking to you guys actually. So watching Nvidia, watching Tesla today, my best trades on the day were these two names, using those same setups that I keep talking about. SMCI was another big name today, but you know, look at the levels. If I saw these levels and I saw this name yesterday, I'd say I don't care. I don't want to trade something that's, like, you know, all over the place. I don't really have a clean daily chart level support and a clean daily chart level resistance to play off of right now. But what it does have is tons of liquidity for a name who's only $40, $30. I mean, what more can I ask? 100 million shares. It's trading below the average volume and it's still trading 100 million shares. So there's liquidity on these names. If you're interested, there's going to be opportunity. You just have to watch them, and they have an ATR too. Like SMCI ATR is $5, Palantir ATR is $7. Palantir is trading 120 million shares a day, right? And it's now an $80 share, not a $120 per share. So a little bit more interesting maybe for people with lower trading accounts. So tons of opportunities across the board. No real levels to kind of play off of for me off of any of these, other than like what last week's high, last week's low, this month's high, this month's low, last month's high, last month's low, last year's high, last year's low. So things like that will always be on watch for me on most of these. Amazon 200 is going to be a very important level. Right now we are above 200, but still very, very close to 200, and you can see we're also at the 200-day moving average, which is around $200. 200-day moving average is exactly around 198.76 right now. On my chart, it could be a given, so about 50 cents, about $1. So let's just say 200-day moving average is 200. So that's how important Amazon's 200 price point is if it does pull back tomorrow and show you support. So this one is a little bit cleaner and also a good psychological even dollar level. You have a good under over price point that you can use and then base your trade situations off of that. So if the stock is below you know, the 200, maybe only look for shorts as long as the market's weak. If the stock is above 200 and the market's up, then maybe only look for longs, look for dips, look for breakouts, and so on. So a couple ideas over there on Amazon. Apple, not too keen to make a trade over here. Google, meh. Meta is obviously right. So today you had a good short through 640 and then a long back through overall. But yeah, keeping an eye on Meta. What was today's high in Meta? 650. So love to see that one. Maybe we get a good breakout setting up into 650. Right now Meta actually closed at 640. So if 650 comes back into play tomorrow and Meta's kind of struggling at 650, markets then breaking out and Meta's also breaking out and Meta's go through 650, I am very interested for that breakout long through 650 at that point. So putting that level on the watch right now as resistance and as an inflection zone. Microsoft, nah. Last but not least, QQQ. Obviously bouncing off of around the 200-day moving average. S&P 500 a little bit closer, not all the way there, and IWM a little bit lower, along with a couple of the stocks that we actually saw on the today on the growth basket, or in the small cap basket, I should say. So obviously makes sense that IWM is lower. But overall, you know, this is just, it's going to be interesting to see how the market plays out. You have a lot of narrative on the market. People are saying that, you know, currently there's a lot more negative names than they are positive. A lot of the concentration has been in the AI large cap, and now we're going to see a little bit of a rotation coming in. Tariff conversations has been scary. People have been using tariff conversations as a reason to take profits or sell off of their positions because they're worried that if tariffs are going to come into play, and then DOGE or Doge as Elon's operation that's going on, which is catching government corruption and so on. I'm very much for the government corruption, but people are complaining on Twitter. I'm not sure how much of this is real, but they're complaining that you know, all of that is actually going to, in return, take money away from the market. The tariffs are going to take money away from the market. All of the Doge corruption and some of the other stuff that they're finding is also going to bring money out of the market. So if that's the case, these are all issues that will actually bring the liquidity out of the market, is what people fearing. But if you look at it, QQQ just had its biggest volume for the last week, for the last few days in a row, after touching the 200-day moving average and kind of bouncing off of it. So that's a pretty good indication if you ask me. Notice how that happened last time when the market dropped into the 200-day moving average, the highest volume that it's had for a very for months on months. After it touches the 200-day moving average, completely bounces, and then woo, right, you get how big of a move from that low on the market? A 26% move on the market. A nice volume candle again, and if you see a bounce from here, don't be surprised. 200-day moving average is reason for people to buy, and I wouldn't be surprised if you know, Trump kind of caused all of this 10% drop on the market just to you know, let some of his homies, his kids, there's a picture floating around, dad canceled the tariffs after we buy the dip, and it looks like that's exactly how it played out. Dad canceled the tariffs after Barron Trump and what's his face, after Barron Trump and Erica Trump? No, I'm joking. Eric Trump bought the dip. I can't find the picture. I possibly can. Oh, there he is. Yeah, not Jerome. What are those? There it is. Let's buy the dip and tell dad to roll back the tariffs tomorrow. I won't be surprised if that's true, man. I will not be surprised. KSI slapped Dylan Dennis during the face-off. And man, this stuff is BS. Alright. I think Trump is supposed to be talking in a couple minutes. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Before I do that, quickly take a look at the econ calendar. Don't really have any other stocks to take a look at. I think Michael Anthony said Hood, and actually you are right. I forgot to take a look at Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and Hood. So I'll quickly run through those names and then I'll call it a night. I'll quickly add boom, 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 3 more. Coin, MSTR, IBIT, and I'll add Hood to the watch list. Hood having a nice bounce at the moment. Nice support coming from the previous resistance area. So good show of buyers stepping back in. Hood also is a little bit related to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin starts to look weak again, you might see Hood easily moving back. But if Bitcoin is not weak, then obviously Hood might be the one to look for the long side, because if crypto actually ends up being the US currency, as everyone keeps saying, then Hood might be the one that benefits the most out of it. So obviously keep an eye on this one. MSTR with a big reversal candle off the 200-day moving average, but imagine that low actually breaks. That is going to be fireworks for me, and I am going to party when I get to short MicroStrategy below that area. For now, you know, daddy came in and saved you from you know, liquidation, and you get to enjoy another ride to the upside. So we'll see what happens, especially if daddy comes in and saves you with the cancellation on tariffs tomorrow, which is apparently the story at the moment. Coming back to Hood, however, 200 to 209, 195, so keeping that one on the watch to the downside. Economic calendar, Supreme Court just seated. I can watch you and the TV. Yeah, but I want to head out. It's almost 9 o'clock. I got other stuff to do. I got to do my homework. I got to go do dishes. I got to eat dinner. And I don't want to keep talking market to the only 2 people who keep listening to me, which I do appreciate. But no, it's time to head out. Prad, just keep going. We can catch Trump on the 11 p.m. news. You're right. But exactly not much left to really go on for me. I forgot a couple crypto names, but they are now on the watch list. ADP, non-pharma at 8:15, services PMI at 9:45. So PMI number 9:45, ISM non-manufacturing at 10 o'clock. That's going to be another number. So 10 o'clock ISM non-manufacturing, global S&P 500 or S&P Global Services PMI at 9:45. Basically 15 minutes away, you get both of the PMI numbers coming out, and then obviously every Wednesday you get the crude oil numbers at 10:30. So if you trade crude oil stocks, HAL was one that kind of took a big beating recently. Where did HAL go today? Nice bounce on HAL after that. Oh, that's not the one. Oof, HAL still going downside today, huh? Wow, we were. Alright. So, you know, oil names. If you're trading oil names, this stock was already weak. And if oil goes weaker tomorrow on some sort of a catalyst, potentially watching HAL to the downside. But I already got a lot of names on my watch list. This is kind of interesting, however. I mean, broke down yesterday and continued stayed weak today. However, the ATR of the stock is less than $1, so it's kind of boring. So I'm not that keen of trading it. I'm not gonna trade it. I'm not gonna trade it at all. Not interested. All right. I wonder why all banks like WFC, BAC, or even the REG, I'm not sure, well, the regular banks also selling off. I'm guessing just the overall tariff conversations. Like, tariff conversations has been a little scary, you know, without a doubt. At the same time, a lot of these banks have been at all-time highs while the market has been selling off. So a little bit of a healthy pullback, if you ask me, right back into previous earnings levels, or even back into you know, 200-day moving averages, all of which I'm completely okay with. Obviously, if you bought bought the stock at a higher level you're not okay with, but these are healthy pullbacks. You can't just have the market keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. So healthy pullbacks on the banking sector. The IPO that we're gonna talk about will be tomorrow, because it actually opens up on the 6th, which is on the Thursday. Yeah, so we'll talk about tomorrow IPO. Any other IPOs coming up? Nothing that stands out to me. And the econ calendar, obviously 9:45 and 10 a.m. are important. And the earnings calendar, ANF, Foot Locker tomorrow pre-market. Those will be the names that you might want to keep an eye out for. On top of that, small caps. I'm always interested to trade small caps, and the stock, or so the software that helps me trade small cap names is Flash Research, and today's sponsor is Flash Research. So if you're interested in this awesome software, let me quickly log in over here, show you this awesome tool. So the way I use this software over here is actually pretty interesting. I'll first go to my scanner, I'll pull up the scanner, and I'll see, okay, what stock popped up by more than 60%. Then I'll quickly open up the stock and I'll see the stats on the name. Okay, the stats, it has gapped up only twice before above 20%, which is what I'm tracking for. At least this is what the default website tracks for, 20%. You can change it over here. Quickly look at the stats. The stats are telling me the stock actually closes green every single time. That scares me, looking for a small cap short. And look how the stock actually played out today. If you looked at the statistics, you would have caught the long. If you looked at the gap day statistics, stock opens up, pulls back, and then runs higher. Stock opens up, pulls back, and then runs higher. So looking at statistics like this, where history, even though 2 times is not enough of data points to trade off of, it's still something better than nothing. You can pull back the history and then see how the stock exactly played off of. Not only is this great for small cap, I also use this for earnings reports for large cap. I can put the filter down to 5% and see how many times the stock has gapped up 5% in the large cap name, and so on. It's good statistics, ways to trade off of history, trade off of stats. They also have an alert mode you can set off of. You can use this to scan stocks for you and have it alerted, and you can have this popped out window anywhere on your screen, where you know it has a sound, has an alert. So if you're interested in awesome tools like this that I use every single day to trade off of, check out my links in the description below. I'll post the link right now in all my streams. Mark a lot says, sub Prad, make me dab and lose the glasses. I don't do that shit no more. What I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much. But check the link in the description, in the chat that I just posted. Affiliate sponsors, you'll get discount codes for all of these right here. 10% off for Flash Research by clicking the link. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off on Trade Ideas. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off on Trader Sync, and click on the link over here to get 10% off on Benzinga Pro. It's been your boy TraderPrad. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you, but it's not been a pleasure looking at my day end today on the market. But boy, oh boy, what a robbery on the market. We won't complain about that too much. It's all about how can I pick myself back up tomorrow and go out there, go to battle, and you know, fight, go back. Round 2, round 3, uppercut, left hook, boom boom, left hook, couple more uppercuts, get beat up a little bit. This is me giving back money, and then the knockout. So we'll see if we can pull out that winning sequence of you know, the winning sequence of punches to end up winning the fight tomorrow and come out victorious. I'll catch you guys next time, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. TraderPrad out. Peace. Get ready for trade off of, get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m.
Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.